Welcome to the Rimworld mod rundown. We'll be taking a quick look at what you can expect to see from vanilla trading expanded. For starters, despite the mod page not showing any dependencies are required, you will need vanilla expanded framework and harmony, otherwise you'll get a whole bunch of red errors at startup. Probably not what many people expect given the name. Trading expanded actually has very little to do with caravans or visiting neighbouring factions. The majority of this mod's content comes through a single new structure, allowing you to earn, save, invest and spend your hard-earned silver in a variety of new ways. The trade terminal is the new structure and it sits at the heart of this mod, unlocked with microelectronics alongside your regular comms console and trade beacon. It only costs 140 steel and 4 components to build, giving you access to all of its potential mechanics. You'll want to treat this new trade terminal with the same logic as dealing with orbital traders, keeping any valuables you're looking to wheel and deal within reach of a trade beacon, so make sure your freezer and any storerooms have a beacon covering all of the floor space if possible. You have 6 options at the trade terminal, so we'll work our way down them. First up is view prices. Now I know some of you are already saying, why would I need to do this? I can see them on the information panel of the item anyway. This is where the first new mechanic from Trading Expanded sneaks its way in, supply and demand. Some will absolutely hate this addition, so don't worry, you've got an extensive selection of settings in the mod options to tweak everything included with Trading Expanded as desired. As standard, prices are now able to fluctuate. If you're selling thousands of units of human meat, leather and the associated organs every single day, at some point you'll have flooded the market. It's no longer difficult for people to make human leather couches, and the local back alley surgeon's cooler box is overflowing with lungs and kidneys. People are having spares installed just to be safe.
He's got 5 of them now, and 3 hearts. We didn't want to give them to him, but he overpowered us.
This forces you to mix up your money making schemes and give the market time to readjust and settle again. Perhaps you'll get into animal breeding, start a smoke leaf empire, maybe the skin and meat are more valuable whilst they're attached to someone. How do you feel about doing a little slavery? Equally though, as prices crash for things that you flood the market with, they skyrocket for those that you are buying at every opportunity. Components? Ooh, they're going to end up costing you. Neutro? That'll become one of the most valuable goods on the planet if you don't have a way to produce it yourself. In an odd way, this rebalances your colony wealth over time, as whilst materials you may have in abundance are now cheaper to keep laying around, procuring and producing certain items will see drastic shifts in the value of your stockpile. The prices page is where you can keep track of just how severe these swings are over the course of the game. I'm guessing you can see why it makes sense to cover Trading Expanded after having done Outposts, with these two mods pairing very well together. Suddenly those huge deliveries of raw food, steel, components or leather won't be nearly as impactful financially. Sure, you're still going to have a lot of raw resources to work with, but the planet will be bursting at the seams with access to them, and other factions will be paying pennies on the dollar for almost your entire stockpile of certain goods. So mix and match. Variety will become key. Just ignore that voice of morality in the back of your head.
Is this stuff regulated, or what are you doing here?
The Rimworld News Network will update every 3 days by default and can warn you about potential swings in the next mechanic, the stock market. Now, a huge heads up with the stock market. It's entirely random. You can't influence it by trading with the mentioned factions, providing the specific items that are mentioned in the price fluctuations, or by eliminating competition from the world. The only thing that influences the stock market in Rimworld is this news ticker. It is, for all intents and purposes, a roller coaster ride for your money, just like the actual stock market, unless of course you're able to influence prices by investing millions and using your social media cult to drive a buying frenzy, then you can rug pull everybody and make even more money. Fortunately, there isn't anything quite as savage as the NFT market included with this mod, so you won't lose almost 100% of your investment in under 1 year. Who'd have thought an ugly monkey JPEG wasn't a wise financial decision?
This
That's
is your
mine.
ape. Are
Yeah,
we debuting it?
it's really cool.
Anyway, to buy these stocks you're going to need money in the bank. That's the next mechanic we'll cover. So let's quickly hop over contracts and do this first. Money on your tile can't be used in the stock market or in the contract system. You're going to need to put that silver into your own bank first. you'll usually have two options with who to bank with, the Civil Outlander faction or the Empire. Goodwill does play into this system, so you'll want to suck up to the faction that you want to bank with to get the lowest possible fees. Otherwise, they'll be taking a sizable cut every time you deposit or withdraw your cash. So before you open an account, consider sending a drop pod their way filled with goodies. A little investment into good relations early on will save you thousands down the line in those transaction fees. Once this money is deposited into the bank, now you'll be able to buy stocks with it. You'll see when buying or selling things via this trading menu that you're given a choice as to what bank you would like to pay from or deposit into. So if you really wanted, you could run two accounts. You could keep one for savings and one for investments. Money stored in this way isn't counted towards your colony wealth either, which is just like the Finnish flag, a huge plus. This allows you to run a trade empire without bloating your own wealth by sitting on thousands of silver at any given time, with cash ready to go on demand simply by talking to your bank and withdrawing it as and when it's needed. Because you're still going to need that silver on your tile and in range of an orbital trader if you want to use it with normal or orbital traders that appear on your map. They can't interact with your bank. As well as investing in stocks and storing your own money, you can also take out a loan with the bank. Quick cash will always be the same, 10k requiring you to pay back 15k within one quadrum. Short-term, long-term and mortgage loans have much better repayment percentages and offer you varying amounts of money based on how much is already stored in your bank account. Short-term is 50% of your balance to be repaid with 20% interest after 1 year. Long-term is 100% of your balance, 20% interest over 2 years, and a mortgage is 250% of your balance, 20% interest over 5 years. As you might expect, failing to repay these debts won't reflect well on you, harming your relations with the faction and eventually having debt collectors knocking at your door. If they can't get their money back in the form of silver, they're going to have to take it back in blood.
Do you know what Nemesis means?
Finally, this leaves contracts, a system for fulfilling or placing your own orders for specific items. Some of these can be highly profitable, with enormous markups netting you a massive amount of silver for completing them. However, you aren't the only person on the planet, so expect some items with massive markups to disappear before they reach that time until end that is listed. If you complete a contract, you'll need to make sure the item stays on your base for a few more days whilst you wait for a caravan to arrive to pick it up. As long as this caravan makes it off your map safely, you'll have the silver directly deposited into your bank of choice. This system alone makes for some interesting trade opportunities, rushing to fulfill contract orders to try and snatch the highest markups, or keeping things around just in case they turn up on this menu. Of course, selling isn't all you can do on this menu. You can also make your own contracts too, from any item in game, minus structures. If you're requesting an item that can be modified by quality, such as weapons or armor, they will always be fulfilled at normal quality, which tends to make this contract system better for things like implants, rare materials or unique items normally only offered as a quest reward or complex loot. Similar to how you've likely passed on completing contracts for peanuts, you're unlikely to have your own contracts fulfilled unless you offer either a nice chunky markup or give someone a great deal of time to complete it. This is the money sink part of the mod, the easy way to spend the thousands and thousands of silver that it can generate in a short space of time. Of course, if you're using this contract system to buy things that would normally be incredibly hard to come by, like healer or res serums, you can expect their prices to massively fluctuate. So the first one or two that you put a contract out for might seem reasonable, but they're quickly becoming overinflated and extremely expensive to not only acquire, but also keep sitting around in your stockpile. As such, it normally works out better to wait until you have the capital to put out a contract for a larger amount than you actually need, so that first purchase is made at a lower standard price. If you buy them one by one, you'll soon be getting absolutely screwed by the inflation. So is this mod powerful? Oh, undoubtedly. Most of its mechanics are a lot more out of balance than what you would find with other VE mods. I'd say this leans more towards the Psycast expanded school of thought, in that if you don't self-moderate, you'll quickly become bored. You can easily do a quick cash loan, then a short, then a long, then a mortgage, and have well over 60k in your bank immediately. More than enough to put a few contracts for marine gear and charge weapons, or mech links and mech lord gear, or skill trainers, architect limbs, silent neuroformers, you get the idea. The core feature of this mod that I love is the impact on prices as time goes on. It makes it easier to store your foodstuffs and materials of choice without needing to panic over colony wealth when you're producing such an excess, but it also makes it harder to win over every faction in the game with a single trade good, so you're going to need to diversify what you offer. It adds in an element of a rotational goal to the colony, keeping things a little fresher as time goes on, rather than the usual set and forget that many of us become accustomed to. Thanks for watching, folks. If you have any other mods you'd like to see a full breakdown for, or suggestions of mods you'd like to see covered, feel free to leave them in the comments, I might get around to them. I'll be back again soon with another Rimworld mod rundown. Wherever you are in the world, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon or evening. Take care.